Cade Cunningham was just selected first overall in the 2021 NBA draft by the Detroit Pistons. The Oklahoma State Stars attracted significant attention from several prominent people in the sport. In this list, we'll discuss those basketball personalities and what they have to say about this young man. Number 10. Jalen Green. A fellow prospect, Jalen Green has been compared to Cade since their high school days. The now Houston Rockets guard was drafted second overall in the 2021 draft right after Cade. The standout of the G League, Green strongly felt he deserved to have been picked number 1. According to him, "My chip is super big. It started at draft night when I got drafted number 2. I felt I was number 1. Cunningham and Green finally squared off as pros in the NBA Summer League, with Cade's team, the Detroit Pistons, going up against the Rockets. The Rockets beat the Pistons 111-90, and both Green and Cunningham had great stat lines. Green recorded 25 points on 8 of 11 shooting along with 5 rebounds. Cunningham, meanwhile, had 20 points on 8 of 18 shooting to go along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Green had great help from his teammates for the win though, with Josh Christopher and Alperen Şengün both contributing well. It looks like the rivalry between Cunningham and Green will last for the long term. Number 9. Shannon Sharpe. Former NFL player and now sports host Shannon Sharpe debated with his broadcast partner Skip Bayless regarding what they saw in the young Cade. Based on his performance in the NCAA, Sharpe had this to say: "I see a really good player, but I don't see a star. I don't see Kevin Durant, I don't see Anthony Davis, I don't see Zion. Some guys you just see and you're like, yeah, he's gonna be special. Maybe it's me. I don't see a superstar." Sharpe, simply put, didn't see Cade becoming a player that a team could lean on for years. However, it's clear that Cunningham does have an interesting future ahead, as it's tough to gauge the true potential of young players, especially those who have yet to see regular season action. It's possibly safe to say that Shannon's take on Cade would change in the short-term future. Number 8. Reggie Miller. One player who was unlikely to carry a franchise but did was Reggie Miller. His 6'7" frame makes him almost identical in size to Cade. However, he was also an outstanding college player. That's something the two have in common. While being interviewed for his take on who'll advance to March Madness 2021, Miller had this to say in regards to what he sees in the kid's game. He's 6'8", can control the flow of the game, shoots the ball with incredible range and accuracy. I just love everything about Cade Cunningham. In this tournament and in years past, you've got to have great guard play, because they control the tempo and pace. For him to be able to control pace and tempo and score, I just love Cade Cunningham's game. This is perhaps the most obvious similarity comparison between Miller and Cunningham's playing styles. It was amusing seeing Reggie almost seemingly taking a look at his younger self. Number 7. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a superstar, which is something Cade Cunningham's hoping to one day become. He also played for Texas in college, the same team Cunningham's Oklahoma State faced in the 2021 Big 12 championship game. Before the Big 12 championship tournament, Oklahoma State beat Texas in a double overtime thriller, with Cade scoring the crucial 3 points to pull the game away in the second OT. In March, however, Texas avenged their loss by beating Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game. In a call with Cade before the tournament took place, Kevin had time to trash talk the adversary of his former college, telling him to his face, "Y'all did say that y'all were gonna be nice and I didn't believe y'all. And I watched that game that y'all beat us, Texas, too, and I was so pissed that we tricked that game off, and then you hit that garbage step back. That was luck. I was so hot. Everything you were hitting before that was a little off, and I was like, yeah, we about to take this game from them. And then you hit that one, and I was like, man, I wish that boy would have went to UT. That boy should have been in Austin, man." Now, Texas beat Oklahoma State in the tournament finals, so Kevin should have cooled down by now. But the truth is, he was always cool with Cade, and is one of his supporters. Number 6. Isaiah Thomas. A former Pistons guard with high expectations himself, Isaiah Thomas knows what Cade Cunningham is going through right now. After watching the Summer League game between the Pistons and the Rockets, which then was a showdown between Cunningham and Jalen Green, Isaiah had this to say about Cade: "He's a great communicator, and he appears to be a great leader right now." Thomas also said that Cade is a reason why Detroit could blossom into a contending team in the East once again, by cultivating the Pistons' culture and having a defense-first mindset. He praised the leadership qualities of both players and feels that their relationship with their coaches and teammates was noteworthy. Strong words from a man who was once a team leader himself and who played a big role in bringing 2 championships to Detroit. Number 5. Chris Broussard. Sports analyst Chris Broussard is another who has an opinion on Cade's game. Speaking on Cade Cunningham after the NCAA tournament, he said this: "Obviously, he didn't look good in the NCAA tournament. He shot 9 for 34 as Oklahoma State bowed out in the second round. But that shouldn't outweigh a great freshman season by him. And I think that's how most NBA talent evaluators will look at it. Cunningham is very smart and skilled, especially for a 6'8" player. He clearly lacks otherworldly athleticism. Some have compared him to Luka Doncic in that he can get where he wants to go and do what he wants to do despite not being a tremendous athlete. And for the record, he's a better athlete than Luka. Sure, he has a chance to be a superstar, it's not a definite though. Number 4, Skip Bayless. The famous analyst and sports show host had several things to say about Cade. First off, he said that even though some don't think of Cade as having the potential to be great, the same could be said for other superstars the league has historically had. He said nobody saw Michael Jordan coming, nobody saw James Harden coming, Russell Westbrook at UCLA, he was hidden. Personally though, I think he could have omitted Jordan from that list because he was definitely highly regarded even before his NBA debut, but anyways, he would continue his critique. I've watched him a whole lot because I kept wanting a little more and a little more. I was fascinated because he's 6'8", he can handle it, and he can really shoot it from mid-range, which is a lost art. What I loved about him though is he's so smooth, he's so poised, and he's always completely under control. He plays a man's game at a very early age, but I always felt like there was another gear that he would never shift into. He was just biding his time. What did we see from Ben Simmons at LSU? He was just going through the motions like, I gotta do this. He compared Cunningham's sometimes uninterested demeanor to that of Ben, stating, at times I would look at him and he's like, I'm out here doing what? I'm out here playing college basketball? In the end, he summed up his evaluation by saying, he's probably not Kevin Durant. I really like him, but I can't go to I love him. Is Cade's experience in the NCAA rather than the G League going to help him compete with his fellow draft class members? Whatever your thoughts, share them in the comments section down below. Number 3, Kendrick Perkins. Former NBA player and now analyst Kendrick Perkins has had bold things to say about Cade, notably comparing him to 2 NBA superstars. He would re-emphasize this point on Twitter. Cade Cunningham is the most complete perimeter prospect since LeBron James. Carry the hell on. According to Perkins, Cunningham possesses the insane all-around game as LeBron did back when the latter was drafted in 2003. Another player that Perkins compares Cade to is Grant Hill, again citing his versatility. It goes without saying, to compare those 2 stars with Cade is a huge compliment. Number 2, Stephen A. Smith. Sports anchor Stephen A. Smith has great things to say about Cade's skills, but not his mental state, which he deemed a concern. On ESPN, he said this about Cade. Let me be very, very clear. I've only seen Cade Cunningham like twice. I love his skill. However, in that same segment, Smith stated that he felt Cunningham's lack of motor back when he was playing college basketball is a red flag for him. Kendrick Perkins would counter Stephen A.'s points, saying that Cade's athleticism and all-around game would make him explode in the pro scene. Number 1, FRASCHILLA. Fran is an NBA analyst, and he predicted the success of several NBA lottery picks, including Cade, in an interview with Chris Mannix. For Cade, this was what he had to say. I agree with everything you said. Now, the thing about Cade Cunningham, and that's a guy I watched very closely because I cover the Big 12, and I know the program really well. And of course, I also have lived in Dallas for many years, and I know Cade from back then. The thing about Cade, I think you have to understand, the reason I think he was the number 1 pick is he was the safest pick of the guys you mentioned. Plug him in right away, high skill level. But I will say this about Cade that I think people still continue to overlook. His feel for the game and his ability to make his teammates better, I think is going to be his greatest strength in the league. I think it's incumbent upon Troy Weaver, who, by the way, has had 2 great drafts in my opinion, and they're stockpiling some nice young players. I think Cade Cunningham's greatest strength, Chris, is going to be that when they put more talent around him and free agents decide that that's a destination, that his ability is going to be enhanced. Incredible IQ for the game. Great passer, great in pick and roll, actually a really good off-ball defender. He just has a knack. He has an it factor. He summed up Cade pretty well, I should say. What do you think about Cade Cunningham? Is he going to be the biggest superstar of his draft class? Whatever your thoughts, comment down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more NBA content.